right, we're starting off with the Illini basketball recruits here. Our number one recruit for the 2018 season is Ayo Dosunmu out of Chicago. He's one of our 2 4-star recruits. He plays 3 positions, and I'll let Cale take it away from here.
Yeah, so Ayo basically is probably going to be our best recruit out of 17 or 18. He can pass, he can shoot. He's got phenomenal court vision. He could pair well with Trent Frazier at the 1 spot. I feel like we should put Frazier at the 2 and put Ayo at the 1. Let him be kind of the floor general. But with having only 1 year of or having no years of Big Ten, experience like Trent's got, then that could pose a little bit of an issue. But Ayo, though, coming out of Morgan Park, he's the best recruit coming out of Chicago that Illinois got since D. Brown, rating-wise. He can play the 1 through the 3. He proved that with the under 18 men's national
Team USA.
Team USA.
Right.
Thank you. He proved that with them this past couple weeks.
When they destroyed.
They routed everybody.
Yeah.
Nobody had a chance. He's just a phenomenal player.
No, for sure.
The best spot for him.
No.
We know he can pass, and he pairs, like you said, well with Trent because we know Trent can score.
Trent's a proven scorer.
Absolutely.
Me and you were at that game at the State Farm Center.
Dropped like 11 threes?
He had
it was
11.
Close. It was like 7 or something like that.
He had like a 40 or 50 point game.
Yeah.
Who was it against? It was Wisconsin. We still lost, but he had like a 40 or 50 point game.
Mm-hmm.
That was probably the best performance.
Only one kept the team in it.
Yeah, the only player doing anything. Coming off the ball screens, just passing, scoring, shooting, everything. He's got it.
Yeah, no, Dosunmu is definitely probably the best overall talent that we have coming out of this class. Really a big surprise to some people that Illinois was able to land him out of other schools that were lined up that he was possibly going to commit to. On top of that, like you said, his court vision is really what sets him apart from everyone else in this class because we do have a couple more guards coming in, but they're more suited for the 2 or the 3 position. Dosunmu, 22 points per game in 16 games. Shot not well over, but 52% from the field, over 50%. Had 107 assists, which came to average out almost 7 a game in those 16 games. So we know that he's able to distribute the ball. 2
state championships in Morgan Park too, which that's saying something because in their conference up there, they got Simeon High School. Simeon High School, we've had a lot of good talent come out of there, such as Malcolm Hill, Kendrick Nunn, Derrick Rose went to high school, Simeon. So there's a lot of good talent that's came out of that school. But being able to win 2 state titles with Morgan Park and his career up there, that's pretty phenomenal.
Absolutely. And not to mention, not to interrupt you or anything, but that championship caliber mentality, bringing that to Illinois, that's something that you want on a young team, especially that maybe he can pass on to the other players.
Not only do we want that, but we need it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Illinois has not had good basketball programs since 2005. I don't want to discredit Bruce Weber, but he just couldn't recruit. But he does have one of the highest graduation rates in the country, and he knows the X's and O's of the game. So we can't fault Bruce Weber for that, graduating his players.
No, well, and we see how he's doing at Kansas State now, and the success that he's having, continuously getting to the NCAA tournament. I mean, taking out the number 1 seed in Kentucky this past year in the March Madness,
which nobody thought was going to happen.
Absolutely not. Making it to the Elite 8, you know, as I believe they were a 9 seed. So it's pretty incredible what he's able to do with that team.
But with Ayo's 22 points a game, that's really going to help Trent Frazier because Trent Frazier. Last year,
the only proven scorer on the team.
That's it. That's where all their scoring came from. Everybody had big hopes for Finke. He just wasn't performing the way he should have been. Finke, Kipper. I mean, Kipper's up there. He can score when he wants to.
When he wants to.
He's an athlete. Which is what
he's a defensive stud. He gets all kinds of rebounds. Kipper's all over the floor, but scoring he can. But that's not what he's there for.
No, it's not consistent, we need consistency on this team. Underwood needs something to work with that he knows that he's going to get night in and night out from guys.
That's like Mark Smith coming out of Edwardsville. Mark Smith just didn't fit the system. He wasn't near as good as what everybody thought he was, which he probably is. He's far away from home. Mark Smith was actually the Illinois Mr. Basketball, along with Ayo. So that's the second Illinois Mr. Basketball we've gotten in the last 2 seasons. But Mark Smith didn't pan out like everybody thought he was going to.
No, he kind of crumbled under expectations.
Yeah, and that also came with this big looming cloud of pressure that he was under as well. He was supposed to come in with Frazier and Tejon Lucas
dominate,
and he couldn't do it. There's too much pressure on an 18-year-old kid.
Which, some of them can't handle it, and, that's just the way the cookie crumbles sometimes.
I wish him all the best at Mizzou, but at the same time, I kind of want to see Illinois
crush him.
I want to see Illinois.
Well, hey, now that Porter Jr.'s gone, we know he got drafted by Denver in the lottery this year, so that kind of opens the door up for Illinois to possibly, I don't want to say upset them, but definitely give them a run for their money.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, absolutely.
Well, let's move on here. We got number 2, Tavian Jones out of Culver City, California.
Yep.
Small forward, another long guy, four-star recruit. Gav, tell me what you like about Tavian Jones.
Tavian Jones is probably, if not Io, my favorite player in the draft other than Dusunmu. Tavian is a freakish athlete. I think he's got an energy about him that Illinois is really looking for. I know last year we didn't really have that guy, like a Draymond Green type player, without the technicals, of course. But I think this is a kid that can, if we need an energetic play, if we need a dunk, if we need a three-pointer, if we need a play to get us back in the game, to get the crowd into it, this is the guy you want. Averaged 20.5 points a game, 9 rebounds for a guy that's only 6'6". That's something that really stood out to me. Rebounds are hustle plays. We need hustle players on Illinois right now. More guys like Kipper Nichols to help him out there down low. Not to mention this guy averaged almost 2 steals a game, which Underwood, that's what he kind of wants to run.
Quick hands.
Yeah, we want a 3-and-D type of team. It's able to run the floor, get out in transition, which already I think Tavian and then Io put together at the 1 and 2, maybe the 1 and 3, wherever he wants to put Jones at. I think that'd be a great combination for running the floor. He's a flyer. I wouldn't say that he's with the best of them, but he can definitely get up there. If you haven't seen his highlight tape, definitely suggest looking that up. He's a phenomenal player, and I really think that he can be kind of the yin and yang to Nichols on this team if they're both out on the floor at the same time, and kind of be not a twin tower duo, but a great duo at the 3 and 4 position.
Kipper and Tavian both are very athletic.
Absolutely,
they got the same kind of builds. They both got insane verticals. With Tavian Jones, though, going over some of his numbers, he averaged 20.5 games, 2.5 assists, and 9 rebounds.
Yeah.
So he can get up there. And some like Kipper Nichols, too. Kipper Nichols can get in there and fight for rebounds. He is a stud underneath the rim, but the problem is he's only 6'6", 200 pounds. In the Big Ten, that's not really going to,
6'6" is good, but 200 is a little light. I'm 200 pounds, and I'm only 6 foot.
Yeah, exactly. He's a stick, but he can pull up from the outside. Not only can he pull up from the outside, he can get to the rim and he can finish at the rim. He can go in hard. He can go in strong. The passing ability as well. The passing ability of Tavian Jones is just like Io. So as you can see with these 2 recruits, these 2 guards that we've picked up, is that Brad Underwood's kind of wanting to go with a system that can look for outlet passes. Kind of more like the dribble drive and the kick out. Drive in, you collapse the lane, you kick it out to either Frazier or Io or Tavian, who's open on the wings, so that way they can drill a 3 or whatever. But he can jump smooth, he can jump high, and he's just explosive in everything he does.
Well, in that dribble drive offense, that keeps up some intensity, which would do really good for us. 3 points raining down with that dribble drive, that keeps up that excitement, gets the players going. It really helps out all the way around, and helps them play defense, so we can run more of a 3-and-D. And we get a lot of turnovers, forced turnovers, so we can get the ball more than the other teams. It's definitely going to help them out this year.
Yeah, and there's other guys in this class that can play defense, which we'll get to, which is going to be a big part of what Underwood wants to do, like we said earlier.
Number 3, we've got Alan Griffin. He's a 3-star recruit out of Archbishop Stepinac, out of White Plains, New York. Another guard coming in our recruiting class here. 6'5", 180 pounds. Another pretty tall guy, but light. Yep. Cale, tell me what you think.
This guy, he's going to be a sleeper for most people. He's not going to earn any starting time this season, I think. He's going to earn a lot of time off the bench, because what they're going to want from him coming off the bench is somebody that can score. Because last season, if you think about it, we didn't have really anybody that could come off of the bench that was a proven scorer. Alan Griffin likes to get to the rim, he likes to pull up from the outside, and he likes to shoot. Not only can he do all that, he can pass inside the lane. He's explosive just like everybody else. and he has phenomenal court vision. All of these top three these three recruits that we've talked about so far can see the court. They can see things happening. Whether that's going to happen in the Big Ten, because these guys can dominate the AAU circuit, they can dominate their high school leagues.
I'm sure they would even dominate pre-conference play. The first dozen games of the season, they'll be fine.
Right. As soon as they can get those first, 3 or 4 games under their belt, hopefully that will help them out with the nerves a little bit. But it's when they get into that State Farm Center and it's packed with all that orange and blue, they're playing Michigan or Michigan State. That's going to be kind of interesting to see how all of these young kids perform. Which, in my opinion, Tevion, Allen Griffin, and all three IO, they're going to want to prove themselves and see how well they can come up in the clutch. Which packing them guys in the hall will prove very effective in my opinion. But I just feel like Allen Griffin's going to come off the bench. He'll be a better asset coming off the bench.
No, for sure. Griffin's another guy I think is an athlete, not as athletic as Jones is personally, but this is another guy 6'5", 6'6", similar build to Tavion, but he averaged 10 rebounds a game. I know this is high school basketball, but at the same time 10 rebounds a game at the guard position, small forward position, that's LeBron-esque. I know LeBron probably got a few more rebounds in his high school days, but just a slight comparison there. This guy averaged over 2 steals a game, building on top of the 3-and-D that we've been talking about that Underwood wants to establish. I think that definitely fits the mold, as well as 1.5 blocks a game from the 2 and 3 spot. This is just going to be, like I said, if you put Tavion and Io together, I think Tavion and Griffin together would be a great combination if you want to get your opponent's wings, off the 3-point line. You want to run them off, have them take it to the basket, where, we'll have our next guy that we're going to talk about waiting for him. This is just similar to Tavion Jones, but I think just a little less athletic, a few less points per game, but 1 more rebound, more steals, more blocks. I think this is a more defensive-orientated player, although he is capable of getting his own shot.
He's going to bring a lot of energy on the defensive end, and not only that, he's going to bring a lot of energy to the bench. Energy is what Illinois needs because they don't have any of it. They don't have a proven leader. Now that they got Frazier coming in on his 2nd year, he's the captain. Everybody knows that. It's his team.
And Frazier's a year older than all these guys.
Yeah, but he's still the same age. He can still run. He can still shoot. Everything. So Frazier's definitely the captain. There's no doubt about that. But with somebody else that can help Frazier along, pumping everybody up in the locker room or on the bench after a big play, that's what Illinois needs. They don't have any hype crew over on that bench like the rest of these schools have. So having Allen Griffin over there on the bench coming in, and when he hits a big shot, having Trent Frazier out there with him or along the bench taking a breather, it's going to help Illinois a lot in the upcoming season. Allen, I feel like he's got a room to grow. He's not going to be a slouch by any means. I just don't feel like he's going to be as decent as Io is right now. I don't know. Griffin could be a sleeper. He could turn out, or he could just, stay stagnant where he is right now. Which either way, he's still a good player.
Yeah, if he develops, he's going to be one heck of a player.
Which I hope he develops.
At 10 rebounds a game, I really hope he can turn some of those into offensive rebounds.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Not only does that really pump our guys up, like you were talking about, but it really deflates the other team.
Oh, yeah. Second chance points are always the best to get. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
He can throw down, that's for sure, too.
Absolutely.
He can throw down. And his highlight tape I've watched, he can get up. He can get up and go. So
I'd like to see some practices, as Gavin alluded to earlier. Our next guy up, 7-foot center out of Florida Prep Academy, is Samba Kane, another 3-star recruit. Big dude, long, exactly what we kind of need.
Yeah,
Gavin, why don't you go ahead?
Well, I'm just like I was touching on earlier. This is a guy that Illinois has been waiting for. We've been waiting for a 7-foot center this whole time. Really ever since I want to say the 05 season when we had Smith. I think it was 7'1". We haven't had a 7-footer on this team in over a decade, and this is something that we've been missing.
Leonard.
Yeah, I think it was almost 7 feet. Was he 7 feet? Yeah.
He was 6.
I kind of forget about him because he declared for the draft so early for getting drafted by Portland. I think he's still there, so props to him. No, thank you for correcting. I almost forgot about Leonard.
Oh, you're good.
No, but Kane, this is a guy, and he's a 3-star recruit, I believe, because of he's just raw. I mean, on both sides of the ball. Like, he shows talent. He can block shots. He can shoot the 3. He's great inside. Shot over 65%, almost 70% from the field, which is crazy to think about at the high school level.
Especially for a big man.
Oh, absolutely.
That's nuts.
That 15 to 17 foot jumper he's got is smooth.
Yes.
I mean, he will drill that.
And I think this is a guy that could replace LeRon Black after his senior year. We know that he had a good 12 to 15 foot jump shot,
Yep.
but Kane is a guy that's about 2 or 3 inches taller than Black was.
Right.
Definitely longer wingspan, which is great on the defensive end. We know that he can guard pretty much positions 3 through 5. We'll see what he's able to do on the perimeter when it comes to guards and the whole switching in the Big Ten. But on top of that, I mean, this guy averages over 2 blocks a game, 7 rebounds, which we hope to come up from being a 7-footer. But like I said, just very raw on both ends of the floor. But he plays with a lot of heart, a lot of passion. Now, there was an issue this summer with his transcript and getting everything in order. I don't know too much on the subject, but Cale, if you want to go ahead and fill everyone in.
So he had an issue transferring over here to where he could come and work with, or for the summer workouts, with IO and everybody. All the new recruits that the summer workouts have, everybody knows about the summer. But he couldn't be here. He had an issue with a class that he had to take back over in Florida. That wasn't strictly transferable, or he missed a class or something like that. It was something weird. So he could not join the team for the summer because of that. But he will be here before or after the summer is over. So he'll just have a few weeks or a few months essentially to make up, which I feel like he could make that up in a short amount of time. But with Kane, he averaged 9.1 points a game. He's a big man that can move. He can run the floor with the rest of these smaller guards, being 7 foot. Being 7 foot and he can move up and down the floor, effectively. That's huge in the Big Ten. Not only can he move, he can finish at the rim, and he's long and he's powerful. Which when he gets in that weight room with Fletch, he only being about 200, maybe 205, 210 in that area. He will be able to bulk up, put a little bit of weight on him, so that way he's just going to be impossible to move down in that low block. If he could get some weight on him and keep that agility up, then he's going to be a brute force in the Big Ten for a lot of teams like Ohio State, Michigan, Wisconsin, anybody to deal with.
If he gets that weight up, because he's a 7-foot guy. Like I said, I'm 6 foot. I'm 200 pounds. He's got 5 pounds on me and a foot, so he's definitely a twig. Not a twig. I mean, he's got a good build on him, but he needs to add some weight, some muscle mass, just so he can push some people around a little bit better.
Right. This is definitely a guy that's going to be a centerpiece when he does get the opportunity to start, whenever coach wants him to come in and do that. But when he does, everything's going to revolve through him, whether it's pick and rolls, whether it's pick and pops from the top of the key, the elbow, whatever they're going to do. This piece really reminds me of what Michigan State tried to do this past year with Jaren Jackson and Miles Bridges, what this class that's coming in, what this team is going to look like. Mostly because what Jaren Jackson and Miles Bridges were able to do, along with everyone else on that Michigan State team, was 3-and-D. They'd come down, they'd try to get the open 3-point shot. They were very athletic. They could throw it down. They like to share the basketball, and they like to run in transition. And obviously they had success with that in the NCAA tournament, making it and winning a couple games. But then they have a legendary coach.
Right.
Izzo is one of the greatest out there. Underwood's had his own fair share of success, but having said that, we haven't seen enough of it in this conference yet. We only have had 1 year so far to see what everyone's capable of, but this Samba Kane should definitely be a big piece in helping us move forward.
Sure.
Our next guy up, Andres Feliz. He was actually a college player last year, played in the JUCO League. He's a 3-star guard out of Northwest Florida State College, 6'2", 180-pound point guard. Another guard in the class was not a bad thing. You never have too many of them. But, Cale, what do you think?
So, him being a 3-star is kind of degrading in my opinion. Not only did he come out of the junior college, he was the best player in the whole JUCO system. He averaged 20 points a game. He shot 61% from the field. He shot 77% from the free throw line. Averaged five rebounds a game with 6 assists. I feel like he's going to be a nice fit with Frazier as well, because he's a scorer and as well, and he can also find the open man in the low block, off the pick and roll, anything, and he can run. He's got an outside shot that's developed. They don't need to work on his outside shooting at all. The outside shot that he has is just smooth, clean, efficient, and he can also get to the rim off that outside shot. So he can get there, he can finish at the rim, he can drive, he's explosive, he's fast, and he's agile.
Yeah, on top of everything that you just said, which I couldn't agree with more, he's definitely underrated. I think it should be a 4-star minimum. I feel like 3-star is a little under or degrading, like you said, mostly because of what all this guy's able to do. And on top of everything you just said, this is a 26-6 guy. On top of that, he shoots over 77% from the free throw line, over 60% from the field. Not to mention that he's got kind of a bulky build. You know, this is a thick-built point guard. He looks like he's able to drive the lane fairly easily from things that I've seen, highlight tapes and things like that. Not to mention that when he does drive, he's not afraid of contact, and that's probably because of his big build that he has. If he likes drawing contact and he shoots over 77% from the line, what more could you ask for from a guy? This is a guy 77% in high school is only going to get better. I would imagine him to shoot 82% from the line during college, maybe even higher if he can improve it. But the guy has a sweet stroke on his jump shot, and if that's the case, I don't see why that he wouldn't be able to increase his three-point percentage on top of that. Usually when you have good form, that leads to better shooting, which leads to more points. So if Underwood can get him to buy into the 3-and-D system like we keep bringing up, this is something that I definitely see maybe starting one day depending on what happens with Frazier and Io, but definitely a guy that's not a bad 6-man.
Absolutely not. I don't know. I'm kind of excited to see what Felice is going to do with Frazier and Nichols. I feel like he's the most ready, most Big Ten ready with
Well, he's already proven himself in the college game. He played JUCO all last year, and he proved that he can play at that level. Like you said, he's one of the top players in the JUCO league. Took his team, carried them, had phenomenal numbers. You can't really ask more from this guy.
No, this is why he's going to fit with Frazier and Kipper pretty easily.
Yeah,
nice.
and on top of that, this is going to be nice because we have a guy that's proven himself already that can be in competition during these summer workouts and summer games that can push them to their limits and really get everything out of them to see who it should be the starter going into the season.
He's just going to help those high school guys coming in. There's nothing he can do but help them.
Sure.
Our next guy coming up here, Georgie Bijan-Shavelli.
Close enough.
Coming out of New Jersey. He's another 3-star guy, power forward with some size, 6'9", 200 pounds. We got a lot of guys with good size but not good weight. And another guy I'd like to see put on some weight, but another long, tall. He's got the immeasurables there. He's ready to go. But Gavin, what do you think, man?
Well, like you said, a lot of these guys that are coming in are really light, when it comes to their height and just the ratio there. But, they're 18, 19-year-old kids. This is what's going to happen. You're going to have guys that are, really a lot lighter than they should be. But like I said, it comes in time. Once they get into the college routine of, their diet and the workouts and being in the weight room and just, everything that comes along with that, he should fit in nicely. I mean, he's got a really nice wingspan for his size, maybe a little bit shorter than what we're used to seeing out of guys that are 6'9", 6'10". But on top of that, from what we've seen, he's a really good passer from the 4 and 5 position. We know that he's got some vision, at least when it comes to his peripheral, and he can see guys cutting and things like that. He's aware, and I think that's going to come in handy. Especially with this type of offense. Like I said, they're going to be looking for the open shot, and hopefully that's a 3-pointer so we can score more than the opponent for once. On top of that, I would like to see him bulk up because, like you said, he's a little light, he's a little soft inside, not really aggressive, and I feel like that could pose a problem. But other than that, I think he'll probably ride the bench for the first year and then maybe see some time next year and kind of, just get into the flow of things.
I feel like Georgie B, which is what we're going to call him from now on, just to help.
Bijan-Shavelli is much too hard to
say.
Yeah. Georgie B it is.
Easier in conversation.
A lot easier. But anyway, I don't feel like he's gonna do much, period. Like Gavin said, he's soft. In the Big Ten, you can't be soft.
Can't have any Dwight Howards on this team.
No, you can't have any Dwight Howards on this team whatsoever. He's soft. Everything I've seen on Georgie B, he just doesn't attack the rim. He does have good court vision, but he's just, in other words, essentially lazy to me.
He would rather sit back and watch than.
Yeah,
If it comes to him, it comes to him. But that's what he wants: the ball to come to him instead of him
going to find the ball.
Yeah, you have to have some sort of aggression playing in the Big Ten Conference.
Oh, especially the Big Ten.
Maybe they can break him of that. Maybe they can get him comfortable with trying to find the ball, get himself open. Or maybe they can't. Maybe they can't get Georgie B to break that habit that he's in. He can attack the rim. He can be explosive and he can play defense. But I feel like he could do so much more while he's on the court than what I've seen personally in his highlights. Now, him saying that he's not going to get any playing time this year, I don't agree with that because they're going to need somebody in there to give Kane a break. And him playing in that 5 spot in high school, which is probably not going to work out too well in college in the Big Ten, only being 6'9". But they need somebody to give Kane a break. Now, they could put Kipper down low and put him at the stretch 5, which Kipper last season has proven that he can play that stretch 5.
More than capable.
He's athletic and he's just strong.
Well, that comes from his defense. He can guard anybody on that court.
Yeah, he can definitely guard 1 through 5 for sure.
But I feel like Georgie B will get in there and get some playing time. Whether it's quality time, I don't know. Whether they put him in there at garbage time, who knows? Who knows what Brad Underwood's got in store for him? Brad Underwood thinks very highly of him. When they did all the letters of intent, or they signed, they actually had the signing day, I did listen in on what Brad Underwood had to say about him. He thinks very highly of him, and as long as the coach and Brad Underwood thinks very highly, that's all you need. He thinks he can grow. He thinks he's got potential. But for me, I just don't see it.
Right, and that's probably why he's the coach of this team, is that he sees stuff that the average fan can't see.
And I'm not the coach. I don't want to be the coach.
Exactly, yeah. You're definitely in the hot seat right now because you want to put together a winning team or a winning program as soon as possible. On top of that, I mean, this kid can dunk. If there's one thing that I can say about that is he can throw it down. He's got the one-handed hammer. Okay, it's in the highlights if you want to go watch it. I believe it was Patrick High School in Maine,
School,
right?
Yep.
Yeah, if you want to go check out some highlights from him, it's on YouTube. It's all over the internet. Even his workout videos, you can see he's got some sort of handle for being 6'10", 6'9". It's not terrible. Like you said, the potential's there, but whether or not he's able to grow into that type of player is yet to be seen.
He's got a long way to go.
And I understand that you're concerned about playing time and that someone needs to give Kane a break. He may get it. We know that Underwood is short with his rotations. So I think it all depends after this camp. With 7-8 man rotation he's going to run, he might not make the cut.
Yeah, I don't know. The only time I see him getting in that game is to give somebody a breather, whether it be Kipper or Kane. Kane's definitely going to get a lot of playing time just basically because he's size and he's athletic.
Absolutely. Oh, he's going to play over 20 minutes a game, I guarantee it.
But
we need it.
My starting 5, I want to go over that real quick. That's the recruiting class for 18 before we go over our starting 5. That's not a bad class. In 2018, they're ranked 23rd in the nation, 5th in the Big Ten.
No, and having 6 guys in your class, that's a pretty good, really good grade to have.
Especially for what they had out there.
Yeah.
For what they had left so late with everybody leaving, this was the best they could get. And I feel like Illinois and Jamal Walker did a pretty decent job, and Brad Underwood as well, getting all of these guys that they could. But my starting 5, here's what I was kind of excited about talking with you guys about. I've got Frazier at the 1, Io at the 2. With Io potentially bringing the ball up, being a stretch, he's not really a stretch because he can play 1 through 3, and he's proven that in all of his stats. I got Andres Feliz at the 3, Kipper at the 4, and Kane at the 5. If Kane doesn't start, I got Kipper at 5, and I got Tevion Jones at 4. What do you guys feel about that?
I mean, I would agree, more or less. If anything, really with this class and being that Illinois needs as much help as they can get, I really can't argue with that. I think that would probably be the smartest decision just because you have your 4 and 5. I mean, you have a guy that's really raw, like we mentioned earlier, but, I mean, Kane, just his presence down there and being 7 feet tall, you need that. And then you have your veteran guy. He's going to be a junior in Kipper Nichols, really athletic guy. Great on the rebounds. I mean, offensive rebounds would be really great for this team with those 2 guys down there. Not to mention, you have Feliz who, averages 6 rebounds a game, so he can probably get in there every now and then. And I really like that backcourt of Dosunmu and Frazier.
That's your backcourt. That's a given.
I think it would have to be. Okay. I mean, the guy's if you're outside of Illinois, the guy's a 5-star recruit.
Yeah.
Yep.
So,
I actually really like that starting 5. The only thing I would switch up. I think Feliz is a little small for the 3. At 3, he's going to be having to guard guys that are 6'7", 6'9", 6'6". So the only thing I would switch, I would put Tevion Jones at the 3, have Feliz come off the bench and relieve Frazier or Io. But other than that, I completely agree. I really like Kipper at the 4, and one of my favorite players on the Illini team. So I like Kipper at the 4. He's got good size for that and intensity. And I like Samba Kane at the 5. And if Kane doesn't start at the 5 and they put Kipper there, which I don't think I'd want to see, just because Kipper's a great player. He just doesn't have. He's not going to be able to compete with 7-foot centers.
I would rather put a guy out there that's 5 inches taller that's a little less talented.
Exactly. But if they do play Kipper there, I don't know who to put at the 4 because move Tavion Jones down to the 4, and then you can fill someone in at the 3 spot.
Well, you still got DeMonte Williams too.
Yep.
So
yeah, we forget about him. He
was quiet last year, but he's still. I mean, he's top tier talent.
Even towards the end of the season, he started to pick it up and was playing, I'd say, pretty well. I mean, worthy of a starting spot.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's going to be interesting to see. I do like that you mentioned Jones in the starting lineup because if I was going to change it, I would have him come in at the 3, just being 6'6", and being that as athletic as he is. I don't see why you wouldn't want your spark plug starting. I mean, yeah, he could come off the bench and he can do his thing, but if you want energy from the get-go, I'd say go ahead and let him start. But like we said, that's why Coach Underwood is the coach, and we're just sitting here talking about it. So,
for everybody that's left, though, I want to say one thing. I'm just going to kind of name off the people that aren't going to be returning for the 2000.
Which is a lot.
Season.
It is a lot.
So we got number 1 being Mark Smith. That was a huge disappointment, but we kind of saw it last year. We saw it coming because he just didn't perform the way everybody wanted him to, and he was taking a lot of heat, so I don't blame him for leaving. Number 2 being T-John Lucas.
Very disappointed to see him walk.
I am not.
I had high hopes for that kid.
He was supposed to be a god and came out and put up 2.5 points a game.
It was supposed to be Trent Frazier and T-John Lucas running that backcourt, and that didn't happen.
Right.
For me, he was just kind of subpar. A lot of people liked him. For me, he just had no business in being on that court and in the clutch. Had no business being on the court. Period.
Well, see, I feel like he was underdeveloped, and he had the potential to be that. If we would have kept him for one more year, maybe Underwood could have got him to be where he was supposed to be.
I think he had the potential, but I don't think he had the willingness to learn.
The drive and ambition to just produce.
I mean, that's fair to say. I mean, that's why we're here doing this. We can differ on these kinds of things.
Absolutely, that's what I like doing.
I see that. I saw him as more of a player. Kind of like Nichols, but at the 2 spot. And like you said, yeah, he underperformed, but I don't think he underperformed to the point of Mark Smith coming in and being Mr. Basketball.
Oh, no, that was a disappointment.
See that's where I'm coming from. If I had to pick a guy to keep, it would have been him. Yeah. Out of the 2, and that's just where I stand on that.
I can see that.
I think we unanimously agree that Smith needed to go.
Yes. I don't think unanimously is the word. I think he just had to go. I have no remorse saying that he had to go. Number 3 being Matik Vasile. He didn't play much.
No,
he was on the bench, didn't play much. No surprise there. My guy left.
Greg Eboigbedin,
Ebo. Man, I was sad to see him go because they were really wanting to work him hard, really get him up to Big Ten talent, and he could have.
You could see him develop as the season went on last season.
Yeah.
He came in
progressively
basically not knowing a thing, and by the end of the season, he was a solid player. He could definitely play. He was getting rebounds. He had great size, great length, and athletic ability. And you could see that all progressing as the season went on.
See, if Ebo would have stayed, then they wouldn't have had to worry about who was going to play the 5 because you would have had Ebo and Samba Kane. Whether Eboigbedin was worried about playing time coming in, I don't know. I can't answer that question. I'm just sad to see Ebo walk because of his growth, because of his talent, because of the potential he had. He was kind of about in the middle of where he could have been. He was almost getting to that ceiling. This offseason, for the summer and the workouts, he could have gotten there for sure, without a doubt in my mind. And he could have saw himself produce these big numbers this next season in the Big Ten Conference. I feel like that would have been a big, major confidence boost for Ebo. But LaRon Black, going to the Euro Leagues.
Okay, congratulations to him, man. If you're not going to make the NBA, that's the next best place to be.
He wants to get into the NBA, which everybody does. All these guys that play college ball want to get in the NBA.
And here's the thing is, I'm sure he will, and not to cut you off or anything like that, but real quick, I want to touch on Brandon Paul. I mean, we just go to his story.
Yep.
Graduating in 2013 took him 4 years to even, make the bench for the San Antonio Spurs. But when he did, I mean, he saw PT. and that's what you want. I think he averaged 5 or 6 minutes a game, only like 4 points, 2 rebounds, maybe 1 assist. But he's there, he's making money, he's living out the dream. We have another guy, Malcolm Hill, that didn't get drafted last year in 2017 draft, but he made it to the Utah Jazz Summer League team after playing in Germany for a year, in 2 different leagues, I might add, and now he's going to get his opportunity. We know the Jazz need wings, and he has a very good chance of making it. Yep. So, it's if Black spends a year in the Euro League and he's going up against grown men, great talent over there, I think that he has a good chance of getting in. But, that's nothing new to Illinois since, 05, and, Darren Williams and D. Brown, Luther Head, James Augustine all getting drafted. Or I don't think James Augustine did get drafted.
No, he did not.
Just those 3. But, we haven't seen a guy go in a very long time. So, it's yet to be seen, but he definitely has a shot.
Yeah, he does. He's a decent big man, but I just wish he would have stayed in his last, played out his last season.
Yeah.
But you can't argue with him going to chase that paycheck. I feel like we got a better pickup though in Samba Kane, and I feel like Evo would produce a little bit better than him. Although LaRon Black can shoot the 3, and he's got the size and the mass. If he just could have stayed out of foul trouble, he would have been a lot. Or he's still an asset, but he would have been a bigger asset if he could have just stayed out of foul trouble.
LaRon Black was another one of those guys. He actually had the height and the weight. He had the size, but I just don't think he had, not that he didn't have the mental capacity, but he didn't have the drive. He didn't have...
not like other guys.
Right. He definitely wasn't always there.
I think some of that has to go into the teams that he played with his 4 years here. Really about the only help he had was Malcolm Hill consistently.
Yeah.
We had guys coming and going. We had guys getting in trouble with the police, getting in trouble in school and all sorts of other things. And when you don't have that stability here, I think you just kind of lose that drive a little bit to, and like, why am I doing this? Not just to better myself, but to, what's my team doing? Like, who's got my back?
Right.
I'm doing my job, and then you have your teammates going off and goofing off, essentially.
Well, LeBron was kind of worked up into some of those off-court issues when he first got here.
Yeah.
He did get into trouble. I can't remember exactly what he did. I don't know. I don't really care, but he did. He was worked into some of those off-court issues.
Yeah, which I think he turned it around.
He
stayed till his junior year, and there's nothing wrong with that.
Yep.
So,
last person I want to talk about leaving, Champaign, Illinois native, Michael Finke.
Honestly, I don't care.
I'm
glad to see him go.
I don't either. He's going to be better at Grand Canyon. He's just not Illinois.
Well, he's going to play with his brother, right?
Yeah.
Yep. That's fine.
He's not Illinois potential.
No, but there's nothing wrong with that either. He was going to play with family. The other Finke didn't want to come here, so that's
absolutely
fine.
What's the youngest Finke is the best one.
He's even better than Mike. So it's nothing wrong with that.
The youngest one's better than the
other. Actually, it's Tim, right?
I think so.
Yeah, I when I was in high school, I watched him play Champaign Centennial, correct?
Yep.
Yep. When I was with the broadcasting crew at Urbana High School, I did a couple of his games, and after watching his brother, he's pretty much got nothing on him. So, more power to Grand Canyon. I hope they do well, but no hard feelings, Mike.
No, sorry, man, but I just don't feel bad you had to leave. It's a good thing you did. You stepped down. You did the right thing. We just need to turn Illinois basketball into a winning club. It's just kind of a bummer to me because he is from Champaign. He's a local guy. That's the only issue that I have. But other than that, I'm kind of glad he left. But Trent Frazier, Kipper Nichols are 2 returners that are going to be the most dominant. I'm just really excited for what this season's going to hold.
Well, and the thing is, this rotation, this class coming in, these 6 guys, along with the 2 returners in Frazier and Nichols, that could be your 8-man rotation right there if you're Coach Underwood, depending on how the summer goes.
Yeah, I feel like the summer's going to go pretty well for Underwood. He's going to get these guys worked into his system. It's just going to be exciting. Can't wait for next season. Spend a lot of time at the State Farm Center.
One more thing I want to add is now that we've gone through the entire class and the returning players, guys that have left, and what Illinois is left with essentially, what is the expectations for this team moving forward, and what should we expect as fans to see, and how well they can do, or how much of a crapshoot this could turn into?
Much as I want to see it, I don't know what you guys think. I don't think we have a tournament team yet.
No, not yet.
We do have a winning record in the Big Ten team, though.
Hopefully. I
feel like we do. As soon as they get them first 2 or 3 Big Ten games under their belt, get their first W, then I feel like we got a Big Ten team. Playoff or NCAA tournament team? No. Maybe. Well, NIT might even be a stretch this season.
Oh, I think they could definitely make the NIT tournament
this year.
I see that happening. Mostly just because of, I mean, yeah, you got a young team, but when you got a young team that's this talented, I mean, the NIT is pretty much, you know, if you got teams from the Missouri Valley Conference that are making it in, that's not Illinois State, you should definitely be making it in. And that's no disrespect to them, but that's just the lack of talent, or lack thereof talent in that conference.
Yeah, I don't know, Tyson. What do you got?
I'm not expecting a whole lot. There were so many guys that left. It's a huge turnaround for the team, having so many guys leave and so many new guys come in. So I'm not expecting a whole lot. I am expecting more than 2 Big Ten wins this year. I can see us easily going. How many games are there in the Big that you play throughout the season?
Is it 14 or 15 games?
I was gonna say I see like 6-8, 7-7 in the Big Ten. I could see a 500 record, and that's what I'm guessing for the season. About 500, 17, 18 win team. And if they do make the NIT tournament, maybe first or second round, and they go out. So I'm not expecting a whole lot. I would love to see him perform. I think a lot of these guys have a lot of talent, and they could. We'll just have to see how they mesh together and how they play after their first couple games, especially their first couple Big Ten games.
That's it right there. Is just we don't know anything about these guys yet. We haven't seen them play. We have their stats. We can look at their stats. We can look at their past careers in high school or JUCO. All that matters is how well can they mesh together. You know, we got a lot of talent here.
The Big Ten it's definitely a top 3, if not top 2 conference.
Yeah,
when it comes to basketball.
Sure.
So
we got 6 guys ranked in the top 25 every year.
Absolutely,
yes.
It's definitely up there.
It's one of the best, or in my opinion, I don't want to be biased, but it is the best basketball conference in the nation. I feel.
No, I would agree. That's why I said top 3, because I don't know
Absolutely.
how everyone else wants to rank them. But I mean, I think you have to, if you don't have them in your top 3, you're not watching college basketball,
or at least correctly anyway.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know. It's going to be exciting. I want to see him win. I want to see them all succeed. I feel like we're going to. Brad Underwood's the right coach. But he found the players that he wanted, that he could get to fit his system. So, which I feel like that Brad Underwood system is going to work at OK State. So it's got to work here, right?
Yeah.
Eventually.
Yeah.
We'll just have to see how they grow together throughout the season, and then if they can't put it together this year, then next year is definitely that's the time to do it. So
it's Brad Underwood's second season. Everybody needs a little bit of time, especially from the crapshoot we were in, to turn around to a good team. It's going to take a couple years. So I'm not getting too expectant yet, but here in a couple years we'll see where we're at after Brad Underwood's got a few more under his belt.
Right, we're going to touch on this a little bit more Friday, but look at what Lovey's done. Look how long it's taken him. Look for the class of 2019, those of you who followed it. We will touch on it Friday. I don't want to give too much away right now.
Yeah, but just you should be looking forward to it.
The top-tier talent that he's getting for next season, look how long it's taken him. So that's something you got to keep in
that's what happens because, not everyone that, is coming into a class is going to be that senior class coming in. They could be juniors, could be sophomores, and they're looking forward to playing for that coach, that specific program they want to be in. And people, that's the fair weather fan doesn't understand that everything comes with time. I think this is his 3rd year, correct? That it's going to be coming into.
Yep.
So we'll have to see what Coach Smith can do with that. The guy's been to the Super Bowl. He's got to know what he's doing, right?
Yeah.
Right.
So come on.
And not only has he been in the Super Bowl, he's a long-term coach in the NFL.
Absolutely.
And he started out in college. He started out in Wisconsin, I think. Don't quote me on that, but I think he started out in Wisconsin. But Lovey is just taking him this long. He's finally got the pieces that he needs for next season. We still got to get through a rough season. I don't want to talk about it too much more because that's going to be on the show for Friday.